Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's great. We still have lots of seats up front here. This is not going to be church. We're not going to have a collection or a sermon or anything like that. So feel free to sit up in the front row. And there's a few seats around. We're going to have, I think, an overflow crowd today if the pre-registration is anything close to reality. We had well over 900 people register. We hope they don't all show up because we don't have room for them in here. We might violate a fire code if we tried to do that. But it's great to see that we have this interest in Villanova engineering. My name is Gary Gabriel. I'm the Dean of Engineering here at Villanova, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our open house. I think you'll find this hopefully informative, an opportunity to see the campus, to talk to students, and I hope you'll take advantage of doing exactly that. Our goal, our kind of intent at this sort of open house is to really let our students talk about Villanova engineering. I'll give you the basic facts, and if there are things that they don't know about the statistics or things that you need to know, usually the faculty members know, or myself, or one of the associate deans, or Gail Doyle, who you may have met on the way in. We're kind of wearing the long sleeve, more official kind of looking shirts. The students are all in those great looking golf shirts. We had over 50 students volunteer to help today with the open house, and we think that they're really our best ambassadors. So what I'm going to do in this presentation is to just give you a quick overview of Villanova engineering, a few basic facts. A lot of information is on the web in terms of things like AP credit, our different degree majors. We'll talk a little bit about that, the courses we teach. But I think hopefully you'll take this opportunity to kind of ask the second level questions, the things that are a little bit more difficult to put on the web. And that's what the students are here really to answer. There's a short video in this presentation that is a video that kind of talks about Villanova engineering from the students' point of view. And then I'll ask a group of students to come up here, and we'll leave as much time as possible for questions and answers for you to get those questions out and let them answer them. So quickly, these are our degree programs in chemical, civil and environmental, computer, electrical, and mechanical. We have bachelor's degrees in this, we have master's degrees in this, and we also have a PhD program. We have a lot of interest among students in minors. These are some of our most popular minors: engineering and entrepreneurship, bioengineering, which really will set you up if you're interested in biomedical engineering to go on for a graduate degree. Business is very popular with students. Science, a lot of chemistry minors in there, a lot of math minors, and arts, of course. And we have a lot of students that are doing minors in different areas of arts. Service learning, study abroad, and AP credit are all part of things that we have as part of our program, and I invite you to ask questions about those things. I mentioned the laptop program on there because we do require our students to have a laptop, but it is part of the cost of attendance, and you receive that as a freshman. You receive a laptop during the summer before you come, and then you receive a second one during your summer of your junior year. And we have a 5-year BS/MS program as well, and please ask questions about that. One of the things we're very proud of in this past year, we instituted a brand new freshman program, and I think this is an example of the kinds of things that we're able to do at Villanova with our size and our ability to integrate across disciplines. But this is a freshman course in which the students will go through kind of a four-piece sequence across 2 semesters that helps introduce them to the different areas of engineering. But we've done this in such a way that it's all project-based, and there's a lot of things that are coming out of the research labs that are part of these projects. The students, when they enter as freshmen, are not constrained to any particular discipline. So they may have specified a discipline as part of their application, but we ask them again to redefine their major at the end of their freshman year. And this course is set up to really help the students with that decision. We have quite a bit of research going on at Villanova. Not many people know that. We have over $4 million a year in externally funded research going on, and a lot of that finds its way to the undergraduate program. So these are a sample of some of the areas in which we actually have some fairly fine expertise. We're known actually around the world for our radar acoustics imaging our robotics work. We do a lot of things with the Navy and autonomous vehicles, and then other areas you see listed there. We just recently had an undergraduate research day. We have a summer undergraduate research program. Students can apply for research grants, but also a lot of our faculty also fund undergraduates as part of their research grants. Another example of students working in project areas is this was actually came out of a student project in a course where the students developed a business around home energy efficiency. And so they have developed, along with their faculty member, all the technology skills and expertise to go into a home and do a full-blown energy assessment, and then to give you a printout if you're interested in alternative energy solutions to how to reduce your energy bill. They're called Powerhouse. It's actually a combination of engineering and business involved here, and they've developed a business plan based on going around and doing more affluent homes and then using the money to also work on more low-income homes on a free basis. They've been through most of the faculty and staff by this time as volunteers, and I can tell you it's really interesting to have them come out and find out where all the leaks are in your house. One of the things that you'll hear over and over again about Villanova, and it's certainly true in engineering, is service to the community. Our students in engineering are very involved in service, and I've listed here a number of areas where the students have been recently. The idea of a lot of our service learning projects in engineering is to try to give the students an opportunity where they can see how to use their engineering background in the service of others. So over the last 7 or 8 years, we've been to Nicaragua. That program started out as a water program and is expanding now into microhydro, into healthcare. We collaborate with the School of Nursing on a number of those projects. Honduras project has been there for over 10 years, Philippines a few years. Philadelphia is probably one of our biggest service areas where students go and work in the different school districts. We have a program opening up in Africa, New Orleans, and Thailand. This is just an example of 2 of those programs. I talked about Honduras. They worked with a orphanage down there for boys that started out with just a couple of small buildings. Over the years, the students, as part of their coursework here, designed 6 buildings, that were constructed over 10 years. They would go down on spring breaks to bring the drawings and designs down, work with the construction people down there, and then over the course of 10 years, they've been able to build. You can see the complex that's there now. In fact, they've run out of buildings to build, so they're moving to other areas. The mechanical engineering students, actually along with the nursing students, have been working for the last 7 years, developing in Huaslala, Nicaragua, which is in the middle of the mountains of Nicaragua, water systems to provide clean water to these small communities that are outside in the mountains of Nicaragua. Again, this is, I think, a great opportunity for a number of reasons that we'd be glad to talk about, but certainly an opportunity for students to kind of get out of their comfort zone, learn how a good part of the rest of the world lives, but also see the kinds of skills as engineers that they can bring to these problems. And that's really what we're looking for them to learn out of this experience. There are great leadership opportunities as well here. Of course, everyone wants to know, will I get a job? We don't have yet the 2010 statistics from the last class. We don't get those usually till about December. This was the placement of the class previous to that. So this was really right in the midst of the recent recession. And you can see that actually these are the statistics we have from year to year. They haven't really changed in engineering. There's still a large demand for engineering talent out there in lots of different areas. I recommend, so I think the answer to the question is, what are the opportunities for jobs in engineering? We're still seeing a strong demand for our students, even in this economy, and we expect it to go forward. Now I'd like to show you a short video. This is kind of engineering from the student's perspective. It's about 6 minutes long, and then we'll go into our question and answer.
I have a great community at home, and I think that I hear. saw that this whole community, how we work, I really just wanted to get involved.
You're given so many opportunities to excel in so many different ways, and just those opportunities create a community of leadership and community that really take hold of everyone.
I feel like our professors try to be our peers for us, and they're here to help us learn. Even though they're going to be challenging and hard, they also want us to grow as engineers, and they want us to learn and see that engineers we can be.
The professors were really the selling point for me because the professors were so nice, even on the open house days, the candidate days. They were very open to any questions. They were very friendly and outgoing, and I didn't want a set of professors where their office was shut all the time and I couldn't get to know them and get to talk to them.
What attracted me to Villanova was the fact that they are raised in their country. I went around with the schools and I couldn't compare with the small class size and resources and reputation of Villanova.
Engineering is a challenge, but it's a challenge that you go through with so many other people that you become a family and you learn how to depend on each other.
It's much more than just the math and science and numbers or the process of design. It's new engineering, the advancement of engineering.
It's a great way to learn the fundamentals of how to run an experiment, collect data, and just have a more professional outlook on how you do things. There are research opportunities available with professors. Actually, as a senior research requirement, you could opt to that instead of taking classes, you could credit for doing research with a professor and get it up to the second page. Plus, it's a really great booster for your resume, and potential employers are really interested in when you have a lot of different kinds of experience, and the research that's done here at Villanova is top-notch. There's a lot of different diversified projects, and you can really find something to work out that you're doing.
Today, you are definitely well-rounded. Can't be one dimensional and just be that technical person.
I think it's important for engineers to learn about all different disciplines because there's no engineer that's going to go and just sit all day and do that problem.
Villanova wants to make sure that its engineers can write a paper, can speak in front of a group, and have debates, and have discussion.
Every summer after my freshman year, I got into a discussion. And so those have all been great, and the college really prepared me to go out and get those jobs. I was able to see firsthand in the company that I worked for over the summer a wide variety of engineers, people who sit at a computer and know how to work computer programs, and other people who will go down to the machine shop and make their own custom setups. And I really can say that I've gained both aspects of that through classes and this experience here. It's invaluable, really.
Villanova, we have to take things like engineering ethics. So that teaches us when we're making a new product, the consequences that come with it, not just launch something that whatever that we do, how it affects the community.
I know that I want to do something that's rewarding, something with my degree that's going to help others and not just bring home a paycheck. But I think that's something that being at Villanova really instills.
It's cool to go to a school where I can not only learn all the high-tech hands-on parts of engineering, but also learn how to apply it in a socially responsible and ethical way.
Engineers have the biggest toolbox to give back to the community. Other people might not know how to make a water system that will help thousands of people get fresh water that we do. And so using all of our knowledge and taking it all over the world, all over the country, even just in Philadelphia, is priceless.
As a college of engineering, puts you in leadership position in terms of team building, and labs, and all sorts of different situations in the classroom. So that's something that I think is hard outside the classroom, bringing into SGA, water profile, central council, and all the other things that are involved.
Outside of college and engineering, I've been involved in a lot of things as well as everyone. One of my favorites is I work in the radio for WXT, United States Radio Station. I'm the color commentator for football games and basketball games. I love every second of it.
What kind of lets me get outside of that engineering mindset is my involvement with the admissions office, especially to attend the first season of Villanova, and the hosts will be great as well, because they're students.
It's called Formula SAE. It's put on by the Society of Automotive Engineers. And basically, the students conceive, design, manufacture, and full-scale race car.
I did kind of last week. That's really fun. I want to go again.
No one on the university tech.
Adaptable. Although engineering is very rigorous, there's times to really love.
Villanova has done so much for me that I honestly feel like it's a blessing and idea, and almost like a duty that I share that experience with others in hopes that they come here and get to experience the same wonderful things that I've experienced.
Villanova was not focused on academics, but focused on helping people. I just felt that was something that I really needed to get in colleges, and Villanova just had that welcoming community that I came there, and just felt like I was wanted.
Keeps me involved in so much because college is something that I did for once. And even though I'm really busy when I'm learning about students, always cool. I really enjoy all of the stuff I graduate.
So let me just summarize a few features of Villanova engineering that I think are important for you to consider as you consider your college choices. So first off, every engineering program you go to hopefully will be an excellent technical education, as it will here. And we have a national recognized program for excellence in undergraduate education. But you're going to need more than that. That may get you your first job, your first opportunity. But after that, you're going to need more. And I think those are the areas that we excel. So when you come to Villanova, there are faculty, staff here that really do care about the students' own personal development. That's what Villanova is about. That's what College of Engineering is about as well. It's a values-based education, and we are committed to the students' development. And also understanding how to use your engineering knowledge in different ways besides just solving the kinds of problems that you might see in our classroom. And I think those are the things that distinguish us. Those are the things I think that our students come for. And those are the kinds of students we're really looking for, students that want that kind of total experience. So let me bring my panel of experts up. And I'll ask them to introduce themselves. And I can tell you beforehand that we have not coached them. They have not been given any advice on how to answer the questions. They have not been influenced in any way by these basketball season tickets that are about to arrive in the mail for them. And so please feel free to be open and asking questions. If there's a kind of statistical question they don't know, they're certainly allowed to look over here, and I'll try to do my best to answer it as well. So, why don't you introduce yourselves? Dan?
I'm Dan Lorenzetti, and I'm a senior computer engineer.
I'm Billy Albert. I'm a junior mechanical engineer and theology minor from New Jersey.
I'm Maggie Carriger. I'm a senior civil engineer from Boston.
I'm Eric Baker. I'm a 5-year master's student in mechanical engineering, also from Massachusetts.
I'm Catherine Schmidt, and I'm a chemical engineer from Southern Illinois.
And there's microphones going around, so with a large crowd like this, if you could just raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you, and everybody will get to hear the question as well. So, please begin. There's a prize for being first. Okay, you have to share your basketball tickets with them.
Why did you guys decide engineering? Why was that your major?
So the question was, why did they decide engineering? Why did they choose that major?
I guess I'll just first. I chose engineering I generally, I love math and science, so that's how I was introduced to it. And then when I, realized what it was and how much effect it can have people, that's why I chose it. I'm in civil engineering, so civil engineers affect, the buildings you're in, the bridges, your transportation, they affect your water, it's the fundamentals of society, and I think it's a really cool opportunity to have a major that, can push you in the direction where you're going to be positively affecting lots of people's lives instead of just, doing something and going home at the end of the day. I really feel good about what I do, and I think that's why I really chose it.
I also picked it for a lot for the math and science. I also like all the hands-on nature you can get to it. You can learn a lot, you can do a lot. It gives you a great problem-solving background to it. You can approach different problems, whether it's either in a technical field or whether it's not, using your engineering knowledge. And I just like that I feel help every different areas with one degree.
I just really like the fact that engineering is such a practical discipline. I like math and science, but I felt that engineering really gave me an opportunity to really do something with that math and science, and not just sit around and solve problems on paper, but do something in the real world that stand around for a long time.
I'll go to another question.
Why did you personally pick Villanova, and why today was it still the right decision?
I looked at so many schools before I came here, and just everything about Villanova. I love the size, the area, the Catholic background. I've always gone to a Catholic school, and when I got here, it's just like everything about here makes me happy, and I knew that I made the right choice. So I just knew what I was looking for, and I looked for that, and Villanova had it all.
For me, it was the community feel. I loved the community when I came here. The small class sizes was another plus. I went to a somewhat big high school, but knowing I could go see a professor anytime, almost anytime, even outside of office hours, a lot of them were, if they're in their office, they open the door. It was a great feeling to be able to have access to the teachers outside of class.
I picked because of the service. I remember being here in my open house, and Dean Gabriel was talking about the trip to Honduras, and I was like, that's amazing. And so far I've gone twice, and we're going this year, and it's a really great way to, learn how to really affect other people, help people who, don't have the expertise that we have, especially in situations that they are down there. So that's why I picked it.
I know Kate mentioned that she came from, she always went to Catholic school. Well, I'd never gone to a Catholic school before, and I still really like Villanova. And I think it was just a sense of, I think it was just a sense of community that I felt when I came and visited that it just blew me away, and I have not regretted it for a single moment.
Kind of to expand on that, I visited a lot of other schools, and they all had technical programs, and they all had the same engineering quality, but nowhere had the welcoming community and the sense of home you get here. Just the feeling that you belong.
Can you talk a little louder? We can't hear back here.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it was Eric who talked about the 5-year program. Could you tell me why you picked the 5-year track and what advantages there are to that?
So, here, make sure you grab the microphone.
It's a 5-year master's program. I'm in the second year of the grad part of it. You start your grad classes senior year, and they count for both your senior electives and your grad grad program. I like the aspect of being able to do a master's in one additional year and kind of combining it into there. There's different aspects for everyone for the grad program. I like the 5-year ability and still do basic skills here, still in the full grad program while doing the senior year.
Next.
Do most of you bring in AP credits, and do most of you have minors?
I definitely came in with a lot of AP credit, which has definitely helped me to be able to take classes that I'm just interested in personally. I'm a theology minor, which is something I hadn't really expected to be when I came to Villanova. But as I took the intro courses, and all engineers have to take at least one upper level theology course, and I just found that I really enjoyed those courses. So I decided to declare a minor, and I'm almost complete with it. I have to take one more class next year.
I did not have any AP credit at all, and I still have a minor in communications, and also I studied abroad in Dublin. So although it helps you, it's not going to hurt you at all, and you'll still be able to do everything you want.
Two-part question for the panel. One, what was the most difficult and challenging course your freshman year? And secondly, what kept you in the program amidst the difficulty of that course that might have given you reason to switch a major or say, why am I here? We know engineering is a rigorous academic program.
For me, freshman year, chemistry was just really difficult. It's never been my thing. And freshman year is very generalized. Like Dean Gabriel was talking about, you have the project-based class that you do for engineering, but the rest of your freshman year, it's a lot of math, it's physics, it's your chemistry, and your understanding culture class and your theology class. So, it's really just a broad range, and it's a lot of work. It's, getting work in all those classes, it takes a lot of time and getting used to it. It was more work than I had in high school. So, but it was something that I knew I wanted to do. It allows you to meet people in your class because you have to work together. That's the great thing about engineering is you don't go it alone. You do everything together. You become a great team member. You really learn how to work together to figure things out. So I think that's what kept me, going through all of those late nights of chemistry and physics homework.
Anyone else?
Our question first is, you describe the atmosphere here as more cutthroat or collaborative. And have any of you engaged in studies abroad as part of your engineering program here?
So part one, environment.
For part one, I haven't studied abroad, but there's definitely a collaborative atmosphere here. I don't know of any engineers who I would consider cutthroat. We definitely like to work together. There's something to be said for solving the problems on your own, but every now and then you just can't do all the problems every little bit by yourself. So, I work with other engineers on basically all of my homework assignments. Most of us are annoyed if we can't work together on homework. Every now and then there's a professor who says you're not allowed to collaborate, and everyone kind of goes, oh, how am I going to do all this homework now? So there's definitely a collaborative feel to all of the classes that I've taken here.
The one thing that really stood out to me was when I was here for orientation, and Dean Gabriel was talking about the School of Engineering. I say, my dad's a civil engineer. He gave me a speech. He's like, man, it's like, you're going to sit there the first day. They're going to say, look to your left, look to your right. Only one of you's going to make it through. Well, we were sitting here, and he starts to say, look to your left, look to your right, and you guys are going to get each other through this program. We've already selected the best. You've already passed all your SAT. You've already done all the hard work in college. So we want you here, and we're going to get you through, and you're going to get each other through. And so it's really, from the very beginning, I think that's the type of program that this engineering school was.
For the study abroad part, I never studied abroad, and I did travel outside the country for my first 3 summers through both my engineering into the force and my commission design project. They both kind of gave a feel of being abroad, but not necessarily the classwork abroad. But it was good to be able to see different communities. You learned a lot from just talking with people in the community. Even though the countries I went to never spoke English, or rarely spoke very little English. But it was a very good experience.
I did go abroad last spring. I was in Dublin. There were also 4 other chemical engineers that went, and I know this spring junior mechanical engineers are looking into it. it's more than possible. There's a teacher in each department to help them find the classes they need. And you can also take summer courses, and you have time, like when you have a lot of electives, that's when you go abroad because those are much easier to find. So it's more than possible, and they'll help you to make it work.
I was interested in knowing about the internships you had during the summer. Are those paid internships? And do you get credit?
I recently, this past summer, had an internship at Siemens Healthcare. I got the internship through our program, Villanova, which is basically a job search for us to help pair us with the right jobs and help us find internships. And it was paid, and it was a great experience. No credit, but it's great to be able to get out in the industry and work and get that experience and to be able to put it on your resume when you're applying for full-time jobs. So it was really good and really easy through Villanova.
Over the summer, I was working as an undergraduate researcher here. I was sponsored through a grant, and one of my professors hired me. So it wasn't an internship per se, in the sense that I didn't go out and hit the industry, but I definitely got to learn a lot about mechanical engineering and even learn a bit about some other disciplines. We were working on building robots, so I had to learn a bit of computer engineering to do the programming and a bit of electrical engineering to build all the wires and set up the boards or set up the circuit boards for it. So it was definitely a good experience in that I got to sort of expand beyond just mechanical engineering and learn a bit about every type of engineering. And my position was a paid one. For undergraduate research, you can get credit for it, but my professor said, you have enough credit, you're going to get paid.
Okay, is it in the middle?
Hi there. Can each of you talk, please, about one or two things that if you could change about Villanova, either about the university or about the engineering school, that you would change?
We can start with basketball tickets if you want.
One thing I would change, I guess, would be some of the core classes. Although they're very good to have, I found that some of them I didn't need as much as others. So I guess it's good to get the whole experience, even if you're not going to use it down the road. But that's one thing that I struggled with personally, jumping from high school to college and getting all these random classes that were really difficult at times. And the second thing I would change is that all the computer engineers are on the fourth floor of Valentine, and that's a big hike every morning. So
the mechanical engineers are also on the fourth floor of Valentine. But one thing I would change would probably be to have a bit better collaboration between the individual colleges at Villanova. One thing I looked into at one point was double majoring in an arts discipline, and I was told if I had to do that, or if I was going to do that, I have to take the entire liberal arts core curriculum, which just was not happening with an engineering curriculum. So one thing I would change would be to make it possible to move in between colleges a bit more easily for people who are interested in doing majors that might be outside of engineering as well as engineering.
Well, the civil engineers on the first floor of Valentine, so I wouldn't change that. But I think I would really just almost require undergraduate research, because I've done it in the past 3 years, and I think it's a really good experience. And I know some people have gone through the program without doing it, and I think that it's a really important thing to be able to know how to, run a test, collect data, that kind of thing, whether you're going to go to grad school or right into work in the industry.
Not sure. The things I would have changed, they actually did just change in the last 2 years. My freshman program was good, but I think the ones they have currently is a lot better. Wish they had that when I was starting, but anyway.
I also don't think I would change much. I do wish I had taken one more math course, Calc 3, because now chemical engineers don't have to, but I would just strongly recommend it because I think it would help now more with our thermal class.
I know there's been a lot of female engineers, and it seems like lately, or the last few years, the doors have really been open for females entering that field. My question is, how hard has it been for you to be accepted by your, fellow classmates? And do you feel you have to prove yourself more or work harder to get the same acknowledgement that they have?
No, I feel accepted. There are quite a few female engineers here, probably more than most engineering schools. I don't feel like the teachers treat us any differently. There are a lot of female teachers, professors. So I would say we definitely don't have to work harder. We're just treated as equals as we want to be treated.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Honestly, I don't even notice it that women are a minority. It's really, especially in civil engineering, it's almost like 20% or more. It's definitely not something that ever entered in my mind from day one.
Over. Hands up for a microphone. Get the microphones. Okay, go ahead.
My question is for Daniel Lanzetti, the computer engineer. I'd like to know, out of all the different types of engineering, how and when did you decide that computer engineering was what you wanted to do?
I would have to say back in grade school when I first got a computer. Growing up, I just loved computers. I loved trying to fix broken things, getting inside of them and seeing how they work. So just going in high school, I was really good at math, but I didn't want to major in math because I felt like that would be really boring. So just when I heard that there was computer engineering, it just kind of clicked for me.
Okay, over someone here. Go ahead.
Yeah, as far as going for your professional engineering license, is that encouraged by your teachers, and at what point do they start to encourage you to do that?
In the civil program, they started talking about it sophomore year. You only have to actually technically take the test for your fundamentals of engineering training, which you need before your PE. You only have to have completed sophomore year of college. So a bunch of us took it in junior year. A lot of people take it senior year, and it's an 8-hour test. It's no fun. But it's definitely encouraged. They're always talking about it. The deadline, months before the deadline, is guys get their applications in, the registration, get ready to study the test. So it's definitely encouraged to talk about it, and you've heard it a million times. So, but it definitely pays off.
Is any of you involved in any type of sports? Is it hard to do any sports when you study for engineering?
I know myself, I've done almost every kind of intramural sport there is, from dodgeball to flag football to softball. You have a lot of free time. There's a lot of work in the engineering curriculum, but you find ways to manage your time and get it done and to be able to do everything else you want to.
I played club basketball and still have plenty of time. It's a big time commitment. And freshman year, I was actually with the women's varsity team, so it's definitely a doable time commitment. You have to be a little more on top of yourself, especially if you're playing varsity athletics. But there are a lot of athletes in the engineering program, and it's definitely enough time, you make time for yourself. So a lot of late night studying, but there's definitely time to accomplish everything you want to do, especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah, I'm also on the club ultimate frisbee team, but I know some people in my class, we have a field hockey player who's on varsity, we have swimmers, we have runners, we have a baseball player. So there's a lot of varsity athletes who are in engineering, and it's all about time management from what they've told me. So it's definitely something that can be done.
Go here, then there.
Dan sounded pretty decided when he got here, but I was wondering how many of you were undecided about the particular discipline that you might end up studying, and what triggered your selection, whether it was a project-based course or something else.
I started out as a civil engineer when I actually entered into Villanova. And by taking my courses freshman year, I just decided that wasn't really for me, that I really, really enjoyed chemistry. And then they have talks throughout the spring semester when you're supposed to decide. They'll like come and talk to you and tell you what you can do with those certain like disciplines once you get your degree. And after hearing what chemical engineering, what you could do with that, I decided to go that route.
I came in as mechanical. I had actually was originally applying electrical, then through open houses, had gone on a couple lab tours at a couple different colleges, and learned a lot more about mechanicals. Ended up switching right before I came into Villanova. So I came in as mechanical and declared that that's brand. Okay, good choice there.
How about over there? Where's the microphone? Or? Oh, there's one back here, then we'll get a microphone up here. Can we get a mic? Go ahead.
How does Villanova, being a Catholic school, affect the experience here?
I think it affects the students in a way that they're all very kind, that, you know, you work together and that everyone is just like, I don't know, like always nice, and it's just like a happy place. It's like, it sounds weird, I'm not phrasing it right, but that's the thing. I just think it's like the atmosphere between like the students and like how we all are a community, how we'll like open doors for each other and hold it just a little bit longer. How it's just pleasant.
The biggest effect I've seen, I think, has been with the service on campus. I've gotten involved in a lot of different service groups on campus, and I think that it's the Catholic heritage that has really brought that out here. Because most of the groups, when they talk about their mission, there will be some mention of, well, you know, this is part of our Catholic background that we go out and serve people. So I've noticed that all the service on campus, I think, stems somewhat from the fact that it's a Catholic university, and I think that's a very good thing, because that's one of my favorite parts about Villanova is how much Villanova focuses on serving others and not just getting an education, but actually using it to help people around you.
I'm actually not Catholic, and so, but in no way do I feel left out, not welcome, not accepted in this community, and it's, you know, the opposite. I feel totally welcome. Often I'll attend mass with friends, just, you know, just sort of like, you know, celebrate our faith together, and so I think that kind of welcoming openness is really unbelievable, and you definitely get that here.
Why don't you go ahead, Nat? We'll go ahead. Yeah.
My question is for Meg. What is your interest or concentration? I guess how do you want to use it?
Oh, okay.
Want to repeat the question, Meg?
Yeah. She's asking me how I want to use my civil engineering degree. Right now I'm focusing in transportation engineering and urban planning, so I'm looking to go to grad school to work with mostly like urban mass transportation, bus systems, light rail systems, those kinds of things to really, you know, work to improve urban transportation in cities. So to reduce traffic, also, but to try and make it more cost efficient and more able for, you know, people who can't really afford a car to be able to have access to transportation. So that's where I'm looking to focus my degree.
Sir, right over here.
From a social point of view, how is the interaction between the engineers and the rest of the majors at Illinois?
Do you guys attend the same parties, I think is what they're asking.
You're definitely good interaction between the different schools. Freshman year, they do pair you here and there. There's groupings of engineering majors that room together. But I had 2 engineering majors, but then across the hall there was 2 business students. So it's a mix from the dorms class. But during the day, you run your class, you're with the engineering. But then at night when you come home to your dorm, you're usually mixed in with all your other friends who are in all the other schools. And it's definitely not exclusive. You're not just friends with just engineers.
And I know especially freshman year, when you're taking all the wide variety of courses, you're taking them with all different kinds of students, and you're meeting all different kinds of people. So it's really good. It's really integrated, and it's not, they don't group all the engineers and shove them in a building together. It's nice.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Anyone? In the back there? Okay.
I'm trying to get a seat in your NROTC program. How does that affect my schedule as far as engineering and sports?
Anybody ROTC?
I'm not ROTC, but I did have a friend that was. They have an extra class, or I think it's one, maybe two, that they added to your schedule, as well as your the other training that they go through in the mornings. It's definitely doable. Everything's possible. He was involved in other stuff as well, but that did take up a little bit more of his. It did take up a couple extras. It took an extra class in his schedule.
I also have several friends in the ROTC program, and they do have an extra class, and then they also have like their naval science minor. And while it takes up a lot of time, he still like excels. Like he's like great at engineering, still has a high GPA, and it is like a time management thing. But at the same time, like it really works out well.
Yeah, in the mechanical engineering class, I think we have about a half dozen ROTC people, so it's definitely something that is doable, and it's something that's almost even common. I think we have more ROTC people than, or like percentage-wise, I think we have more ROTC people than a lot of other disciplines, actually.
Okay, well, I want to thank you. If you could kind of give our panel